When you look at Lake Forest Academy, you see we've gone from STEM to STEAM.
A program that went way beyond academics, a program that brought students together from all over the world.
A very international, welcoming, nurturing community.
Under the Strudwick's leadership.
The thing that I take away from LFA more than anything else is how fortunate I was that it gave me an opportunity to be a candidate for admission at schools like Columbia and Stanford and some of the really top schools in the country.
I thought this was a gem hidden in Lake Forest, Illinois.
When I speak to alumni from all generations, there's something special about this place. Our tagline today is Midwestern Heart, Global Mind, but I think that Midwestern heart has been something which has been a great part of the Lake Forest Academy and Ferry Hall tradition.
I met the Strudwicks in the summer of 2001 at a reception in New York. Then later John called me and said, would you perhaps consider being on the board? And I said, well, I will if it's a school like you are describing you want to lead. I mean, there was a lot to do. School needed a lot, but it had a bunch of people that were real believers and were working really, really hard to improve it. In 2001, the school was in pretty tough straits financially.
We clearly needed to raise a significant amount of money to improve the physical plant and build the endowment.
There were empty beds. The classroom space was underutilized. There was so much room to build.
And that's where John started.
We were fortunate to find John Strudwick, who had, in my view, all of the skills, and probably the most important thing was he had the commitment to transition through a long period of time, set the goals, and make that happen.
I think it was in 2003. He'd only been there a couple of years. LFA needed a strategic plan. John said, we'll do it, and we'll do it ourselves.
A few things kind of came out with that analysis, which was improving the facilities, improving the selectivity, retaining faculty, etc.
They came and they saw opportunity, they saw possibility, and they weren't afraid to take what was here and think about what it could be and get to work on that. We took great care in looking at our academic facilities, our residential facilities, and our athletic spaces. The big campaign was about buildings and it was about endowment. We just got on a roll and people were excited and people wanted to be part of the success. Our little $25 million went to almost $70 million, and I think, again, it speaks to the confidence that our donors and the greater community had in what was going on at Lake Forest Academy.
John, during the 18 years, never took a break and said, okay, we're good. He always had the next project, the next program, the next new facility. And even while those things were being put together, he was already starting to plant seeds for whatever was going to come next.
Certainly one of the things that I think Loring and I both noticed and recognized when we came here was the opportunity to build a really strong boarding school community, and the fact that the Midwestern Values really led into that.
I really applaud the Strudwicks for coming and saying, you know what, this is a boarding school and we're going to run it as a boarding school.
The school culture changed in the way of people began to, I think, believe in the caliber of the school a little bit more. We saw a higher caliber of students wanting to come here. We saw more faculty wanting to teach here. We retained more professional development, and everything kind of went from each other. So it was an ongoing school improvement opportunity that worked. We also started to look more strategically at our international admissions that would both add diversity and quality to the student body.
When I was Dean of Admissions, we were becoming more known internationally, not just in China, but St. Petersburg, Russia, and I met with other families, and I think it's kind of exciting to come in and have students from different cultures and different backgrounds.
There's definitely a strong community of faculty families on campus, which is really, really nice. My dad was the head of school, my mom was dean of admission, and I eventually was in her math class. There has been so much great progress from the school, and they've been able to focus on more passions or things that they've been excited to see for the school now that that's a possibility.
John and Loring are dedicated boarding school leaders and parents.
This is a husband-wife team where they complement each other.
And I was always amazed at how well they knew every kid in the school. John is somebody who's reflective.
When I think of John, I think of an individual who has all of the traits of a true leader.
To be aware of the importance of listening and understanding, especially with respect to views and belief systems that are different from your own.
He's into cultures. He's into globalism.
Pluralism, being accepting of the experiences and perspectives of people who are different from you. That's been probably the #1 emphasis of John during his time here at Lake Forest Academy.
He focuses on people and not the process. He wants us to be the best that we can be.
I think here the faculty and staff really care deeply about each and every student. But I do think our location in the Midwest and perhaps the diversity and the balance of our student body also help us create this somewhat unbelievable community in the North Shore of Chicago. But this is a welcoming community, it's a strong community, it's a diverse community, it's an empathetic, compassionate community. And that's something we've really worked to continue to improve.
We were a great school, we still are a great school, and we will continue to be a great school.